It was hoped Emiliano Sala would be the striker to shoot Cardiff to safety. Then he boarded the plane. Just as they had on Friday night, a group of teenagers stood outside Cardiff City Stadium on Tuesday and talked about Emiliano Sala. The six boys, all players for a five-a-side team from across the road, had by chance seen Sala sign his contract after finishing their weekly game and being granted a photograph with Cardiff's record signing before the club had even made the announcement. They were excited about his potential impact and discussed the goals he might score. 4 days on, the conversation in the same spot was full of melancholy. "He hasn't even played for us, but because we met him the other night, it still felt like he was such a big part of the club," said Sebastian Mallet, 17. "He was a very nice guy. He could speak a few words of English. He asked us how we were and was happy to have a photo, and it is just so sad." Oliver Watson, also 17, took over from his friend. "We were buzzing to meet him," he said. "Now it is just shock that we will not see him play for us. So little time has passed." It is poignant indeed that a young band of Cardiff fans, keen footballers themselves, could best articulate what seems like the heartbreaking briefness of Sala's time in South Wales. By coincidence, their team name chimes with his homeland. They play for Quilmes Juniors, so called because of a previous trip to the Argentine city. Sala has never played for Argentina, but his goals for Nantes, 48 in 130 games, convinced Neil Warnock to commit £15 million for his signature. It was hoped he'd be the forward to shoot Cardiff to Premier League safety. Then he boarded the Piper Malibu plane. "We'd seen his highlights online. He looked a really good striker," added Oliver. "Some of his headers are incredible. He would have been a big help to us." Overriding any sense of football loss, though, is human bereavement. "Obviously we don't know all the details yet," Sebastian said. "You just hope that even if he can't play again, he is somehow safe." Behind them a small shrine had begun to develop by the bronze statue of Frederick Charles Keener, the man who captained Cardiff to the FA Cup in 1927 and made 507 appearances for the club. A blue and white scarf stretched across the marble base had "SALA" written across it, and daffodils were delicately scattered. Bouquets of flowers had been left by Keener's boots. "Thoughts and wishes to the Sala family, with love, Evans family," read one. Another bore the message, "Emiliano, our thoughts and prayers are with you and your family at this time, from David, Louise, Lizzie, Bethany." Observing the contrast between a player whose Cardiff career was so vast and another's whose looks to have been cut cruelly short was Robert Glaves, a supporter for more than 50 years. "He's going to be remembered as the best player we never had," Robert said. In the club shop, those behind the till reported no shirts bearing Sala's name had been sold, as he hadn't yet been allocated a squad number. It is said to be a similar tale with the players' WhatsApp group. Sala would have been added this week once his phone number disseminated. "Pure despair and shock," was one description of the reaction from the squad he was about to enter. Some of Warnock's team had met the 28-year-old on Friday when he undertook his medical at the Vale Resort, Cardiff's training base. Tuesday's session, scheduled for 12 p.m., was cancelled, so the only professional sportsmen walking the grounds were the Wales rugby team as they prepare for the Six Nations. The mental state of the Cardiff players will be assessed before Wednesday's training gets underway. They do not have an FA-Cup tie this weekend, so there is room to take stock, and while next Tuesday's match at Arsenal is under discussion, it is expected to go ahead. That was the response when Leicester suffered their tragedy in October, and it has not escaped attention that Cardiff were exemplary hosts 7 days after the helicopter crash that claimed the life of owner Vichy Srivadhanaprabha and 4 others. There was utmost sensitivity inside the Cardiff City Stadium that day, Leicester allowed to grieve as one around the centre circle, and for the return game at the King Power last month Alan Birchenall gave praise in emotional fashion. There was eerie unease. Another aircraft disaster has happened again so soon, but undoubtedly Cardiff will be treated with absolute compassion in return. The boys from Quilmes Juniors went to both matches. I'm sure if the game does go ahead, Arsenal will pay full respects, as we did for Leicester, said Sebastian. A love of guitar, crime fiction and Gabriel Batista videos. Emiliano Sala was cherished not only for his goals but for his character. Football in shock after Emiliano Sala's plane went missing over English Channel. Sala was flying to the UK after sealing a club record £15 million move to Cardiff City. He was known for his excellence in front of goal, but there was more to him. The forward was adept with guitar and an avid reader when not on the pitch. To grasp the strength of affection felt by Nance for Emiliano Sala, we need only return to the events of last week. When a leading goalscorer leaves in the January transfer window, it is usually with his hood up and via the back door amid the loud stomping of feet. Yet Sala was different. His French teammates had only respect and admiration for his achievements, and before his £15 million move to Cardiff was finalised, Nance prepared a special show reel of Sala's goals and best moments to celebrate his transfer. On Monday, he was back in the northwest of France, saying farewell to his teammates. Sala was cherished not only for his 12 goals and 16 starts this season but also for his work rate on the field and character in the dressing room. Adept with the guitar and an avid reader, Sala possessed a cultural hinterland that set him apart. He would often bring a book to the training ground for his downtime. Reading is what I love, Sala said last year. I'm into crime and drama fiction. I love to be transported into that world. After a childhood in Argentina, where he would study videos of the legendary Gabriel Batista, Sala took a huge gamble when he left his homeland aged 14 to join the Bordeaux Academy. From there, he had loan spells in the top 3 flights of French football. He was fully immersed in French culture, speaking the language fluently, but he retained his Latin heritage by holidaying in Spain and always drinking mate, the favorite hot drink of so many South American stars. Sala read Chinese philosophy, and his favorite book was the Motricile Diaries, the story of Che Guevara's trip as a student, which inspired the striker to start thinking of launching a charity in Africa after his retirement from football. Sala told SoFoot, in Argentina, "There was not much money. My dad was a van driver. We didn't have much coming in. That period drives me on. I have had to work so hard at every stage of my life. My mom found it so hard when I left. Other people in the town did not agree that a child could leave a village so young. Since I moved away, we have always spoken every day about our hopes, worries and dreams. His social feed brims with family pride. He spent Christmas with his mother Mercedes and his two siblings Dari and Romina. His mother last spoke to her son before takeoff. He was so happy, this was the best moment of his career, she told reporters in Argentina. His dad, Horacio, called to congratulate Sala on his transfer on Sunday evening. In Argentina on Tuesday, journalists and supporters were attempting to discover more about a player they had never truly known due to his early move to Europe. Despite his goals this season and a move to the Premier League, he is not a player who had been considered for a call-up to the national team. At 28, his moment in the sunshine had finally appeared after years of painstaking graft. In the early days in France, the picture appeared bleak, and he was even turned down by an Italian third division side. Some 8 years on, Sala had proved himself and was ready to join Cardiff's relegation fight. Beyond the Premier League, the plan was to end his career in Argentina. Sala said, "I left Argentina behind so young and I want to discover it again at some point. It would be a dream to do so at Independiente, the club I supported." For his family and friends, the hopes and dreams now give way only to sadness and memories.